So you want to write a book, but there's one huge obstacle in your way. Well, multiple technically, but they all tie back into a single element of the story that you're nervous about. The plot. You might be more of a character writer afraid of having a lackluster plot that'll bore readers into giving up before they even finish your story. Well, don't you fret, cause I'm here to tell you the basic shit you need to know to construct a solid plot to carry your story and characters. So first, let's talk about what a plot even is and the difference between a main plot and a subplot. The plot is the events of your story and how they connect, and the main plot is, well, the main storyline. For example, if your story is about a chosen one defeating the Dark Lord, the main plot is anything your character does to train to battle their destined enemy and free the world from their dark grip. A subplot, meanwhile, is a much smaller plot on the side that appears throughout the story. Say if we have the chosen one plot in the foreground, we could also have several subplots in the background, say family troubles for the main character, or perhaps a romance. Subplots are all about further exploring your characters, world, and themes outside the main plot, and also tying the beats of the main plot together more cohesively. Writers tend to fall into two categories, plotters and pantsers. Plotters, as the name suggests, myself included, organize the entire story ahead of time in an outline. Pantsers, meanwhile, wing everything as they go through their first draft. Even if a new writer believes that they're a pantser, I'm of the belief that all writers should create an outline beforehand to provide a basic structure and guide to make sure no plot threads wind up dropped. Mainly for amateur writers who are just starting out and might not know story structure like the back of their hand yet. The thing is with plots is that most of the time they're not original. It's often said that while great characters can save a mediocre plot, mediocre characters can't save a great plot. And I'm inclined to agree. If plot is not your strength as a writer, then focus more on your characters and world and making them unique and memorable. Now, it's important to remember that you shouldn't try to compress or extend your main plot to try and meet some weird requirement for the length of your novel. Your story should be as long as it needs to be organically. However, if you feel your story is too short, and it's definitely not supposed to be a short story or novella, then you might be tempted to write filler content. Don't. Filler content, for those unaware, is any sort of content added to just inflate your work. It isn't there because of any plot, subplot, character arc, or world building, and therefore can be removed from the work without changing a single goddamn thing. Everything in your story must be there for a specific reason, and anything else will risk bogging down your work and making it less enjoyable for your readers. If you really need to extend your story, then focus on your subplots more. Give subplots chapters of their own, and maybe even try to use them to branch together distant points of your main plot. This way, no time in your story feels wasted. So there you go, the basic shit you need to know to construct a set of plots and subplots. If you'd like more writing tips, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell for notifications, because YouTube hates creators. I'm publishing my own new adult urban fantasy novel this year, Diseneribus from the Ashes. So if you could check out all the stuff about the first chapter and synopsis in the description below, I'd really appreciate it. I've also started a Patreon, so if you'd like to become one of my children, the link is also in the description. By becoming a patron, not only would you be supporting me directly, as well as get access to my review notes and early videos, but higher tiers get you access to the private Asshole Parade Discord server, as well as the first 4 chapters of my novel. I'm the Unicorn of War, and this has been a shit show.